Welcome to the Arabian Drilling Company land rig AD-15. Our work is never so urgent that we cannot take the time to do it safely. After arriving on the rig, a member of the crew designated by the man in charge, who is ultimately responsible of all the rig operations, would have guided you to watch this safety induction video. After watching this video, you will be asked to fill in a safety induction card and to sign in the rig safety register. And if you are staying overnight, you will be assigned a room. You will also be given some safety information and instructions regarding the current operations on the rig and your duties. Make sure you declare if you have a mobile phone with you. It may create a fire risk at certain rig areas. At any moment, if you are not sure, ask. Where safety is concerned, there is no room for doubt. Emergency situation on the rig. The following emergency signals may sound. 1. Fire alarm. It is an audible alarm with an intermittent sound. 2. Gas and H2S alarms. Remember, blue visual signal is for gas and yellow visual signal is for H2S. Both signals are accompanied by a high-pitched continuous sound. If you hear any of these alarms, report to the muster station. There are typically 2 muster stations, one on each entrance to the rig location. The selection of which one to use is determined by the prominent wind direction. Make sure you know the muster locations and also what to do in case of an emergency. Listen for the all clear signal before you return to normal duties. 3 short rings. You must note that different rigs may have different alarms. Make sure you know the alarms on your particular rig. If there is an emergency on the camp, emergency alarm will be sounded. All the personnel on the camp should gather at the camp muster point. Muster will be checked, and the camp boss will check the cabins for any missing person. Note that regular emergency drills are held on the rigs, and all personnel must attend. General safety on the rig. Speed limit on the rig is 5 kilometers per hour. If you are driving, do not exceed it. Reverse parking policy should be practiced on all ADC locations. The use of seat belts is mandatory for driver and passengers. This is a condition of employment for our employees. ADC personnel are only allowed to use company-provided transport. The use of private vehicles for transport to and from the rig is strictly not allowed. If you are driving, before starting your journey, make sure to check your vehicle properly. Remember the elevated risk of desert driving. If your vehicle is fitted with a drive right, make sure it is working before you start your trip. If not, ground the vehicle and do not use it. If you will be refueling your car, make sure you connect the ground earthing clamp. Alcohol and weapons are banned on rig and camp locations, as are any drugs except prescription drugs, which must be declared to the medical staff. Jewelry must not be worn at the rig site whilst at work. Smoking is only allowed in certain specified areas. This also applies for the camp, and smoking in bed is strictly forbidden. You must wear personal protective equipment or PPE outside the living quarters at all times, and it is your responsibility to make sure that your PPE are in good condition. Remember, PPE are meant to protect you. Use PPE that suits the job in hand and are proper for the area where you are working. There are safety signs around the rig which help indicating the suitable PPE for a particular area. If you are new to the rig, you will be given a green helmet so we can take extra care of you. Company rules ban beards and facial hair. In the unlikely event of fire or H2S gas release, they will prevent efficient use of self-contained breathing apparatus (SCBA), which may risk your life and lives of others. Work boots and dirty coveralls must be removed before entering the mess. While at work, you will need to wear work gloves, but in order to keep handrails clean and safe, remove them and put them in your pocket before using a handrail. Remember, a slippery handrail could cause an accident or injury. Never carry anything on the stairways unless one hand is free for the handrails. And never rush or run. Weekly safety meetings will be held on the rig to discuss any safety-related issues. You must attend the general weekly safety meeting. Other meetings are also held, such as daily, pre-tour, and pre-job meetings. Make sure you attend the meetings relevant to your role. Your active contributions are more than welcome in any of the safety meetings. Safety at work. Work on the rig often involves heavy and potentially dangerous equipment. Make sure that you are aware of lifting operations near you. Never stay under a load while it is moved, and obey the rules regarding air hoist, man riding, crane, and forklift operations. If you will be involved yourself in any lifting operation, make sure to check the lifting gear properly before you start the job. If you are in a high noise area, use ear protection. And if you are carrying out welding or grinding jobs, make sure you wear proper personal protective gear and obey safety rules. Only authorized personnel are allowed to enter the power control room. Unless you are authorized to enter it, stay away from the PCR. If you are working with chemicals in the mixing area, use extra care and check the MSDS sheets. And make sure you know where the nearest eye wash stations are. Driller's permission is required when going up into the mast. If you are going to perform equipment maintenance jobs, be sure you understand the lockout tag systems. ADC rigs implement a permit to work system. It is a formal written authorization used to control certain types of work that are identified as potentially hazardous. It is also a means of communication between site management, rig supervisors and operators, and those who carry out the work. Any hazardous work shall require at least one of the following work permits: safe work permit, hot work permit, electrical work permit. In some cases, several types of permits may be required for a complex task. Ask for the list of jobs that require a work permit and make sure you obtain one if you will be involved in any work that requires a permit to work. When working in the derrick or above 3 meters of height, make sure you use full body harness connected to an overhead fixed point or an inertia block. Make sure you know where all emergency stop or blackout switches are, and operate only when an emergency situation is identified. At pre-job meetings, you will be told exactly what your job involves, and if it's not your routine job, a permit to work must be issued before you start the process. If the job is required to be done on the mast with a man rider, a work permit has to be issued and approved by the man in charge. Central to the rig safety control system is the STOP program. If you see an unsafe condition or work practice, it is your duty to stop that act, discuss and show the correct way, and then report it using the STOP cards provided. You can similarly use the STOP technique in reporting safe acts. Finger injuries are identified as a constant and high potential risk on any rig operation. Rigs are constantly identifying pinch points and painting them in black and yellow strips to warn you of the possible risk. Alternative safe handling areas are painted in green. Make sure you pay attention to them and only handle the green painted sections that are safe. Working safely and protecting the environment is an issue of great importance in our business. Please avoid any spill, and if any spill occurred, report it immediately to the MIC, who will take the necessary action to contain the spill. And remember that all waste is sorted and managed carefully. ADC Rig is a safe, clean, and efficient workplace, and it is your duty to keep it that way. Only constant vigilance prevents accidents, and the whole crew works together to make the Arabian land rig operations a safer place. Remember, only proceed if the job is safe. Our work is never so urgent that we can't take the time to do it safely.